Have we reached rock bottom? Stay right there. When I get back, we'll talk about it.
You were talking about money, right?
Separate yourself widely from the pack moving forward. Is that something that you would be willing to have a discussion about?
Because they didn't get it.
They
were
probably
like,
didn't get it. Yeah.
To follow up with your clients, to generate more leads.
Good morning and happy Thursday. We're in for a treat on this. I think it is a little surprising, but for most, not really surprising. Our mortgage applications nationally are down. But before we get into that, let's jump into our daily interest rates. So as you can see here, we are quoting based on the 22nd, and we're looking at a $300,000 price range as usual, 5% down in Texas on a conventional loan, average credit score, and I'm going to show again because we get to bump up. Texas's new average credit score is now 680. Not anything to brag about, but just wanted to give you the information. 30-year fixed mortgage is sitting at 4.48%. And I want to show you the other end of the spectrum. Even if you are fantastic credit, flawless, you're sitting at a 4.22% interest rate. And it is going to continue to rise, guys. I don't know how much higher it will go, but as mentioned in the previous update, we talked about 3 different options that you have in regards to waiting and how long and how much it will go up and what it costs you. So take a look back at the last video that I posted on this subject. But I've got another subject that I want to jump into, and I've got some friends that I want to bring along as well. But let's talk about mortgage applications. They're down all over the place, and I've got a video that I want to show you, and then we'll talk about it.
Where inventory is in comparison to where demand is. Obviously, we're looking at mortgage applications today. The expectation has been with rising rates, maybe home buyers or those who are potential home buyers kind of pull back and say, maybe this is not the good time to buy a house. Have we already seen that slowdown? What are you hearing in terms of the hottest markets?
Well, I've spoken to some would-be buyers, and these are people who were interested in buying a house, but they don't have to buy a house. They already have a house, but they're thinking maybe they want to upsize, maybe they want to downsize, whatever the case may be. They're taking a bit of a break. I spoke to a bunch of people who have been looking sort of on and off for a while now. They've made competitive offers. They've been outbid over and over again, and they're getting tired of it, especially since they have become, involved in the whole process and fallen in love with the homes, and then they don't get it. So they're tired of the disappointment, and they've taken a back seat. But the people who are actually setting the market are, as I mentioned to Brian, those must-buy types, which is what one broker referred to them as. These people need shelter. Their rents have gone up too high, too much, 20%, 30%. In some markets like New York, rents are up by 50% in some markets. Some pockets of neighborhoods there. So the rents have gotten too high, they've been evicted, they want a bigger house. They move maybe, there's a lot of movement out there. So these are the people who are those must-buy types. And they're going to great lengths to actually get the house they want. They're making these incredible offers, all cash in some cases. They're going $100,000 over asking in some cases, $150,000 over asking in some cases. And they're outbidding the people who would like to buy, but don't want to compete at that level.
So what are the options for the people that need to find a place now? Is it they have to compromise, they have to look at different areas, look for something cheaper, knowing that they're going to have to bid maybe $100K over just to get what they want?
That's sort of what's going on here in this Florida market. I spoke to one person who was looking pretty seriously in Jupiter Farms area. She looked for 6 months, couldn't find anything that was within her price parameters. So she broadened her search, and she found something in Palm City, less expensive, not exactly her dream house. She likes it but doesn't love it. Even so, she made an offer, sight unseen. She made a blind offer. She waived the inspection to get the deal done, and she actually got the house. One broker told me in this market, you might get 50% of what you want. In a normal market, you probably got 85%. So people are having to lower their expectations and make all sorts of compromises to get the house. One broker told me the big win of the deal is actually getting a house.
What's the advice for home buyers?
I think you just need to sort of lower your expectations and make those compromises. As I mentioned, you're going to get some of what you want, maybe not all of what you want. And as I mentioned earlier too, like people who don't have to buy, they're saying forget about it. But the people who want to buy or who need to buy, because as I mentioned, their rents may be too high or for some other reason, they're, making pretty solid offers, and they're at a point where they feel like they've got to go 10, 20, 30,000 over asking, if not significantly more than that. And they are waiving the inspections, and they are making these offers no contingency. So this is the group that's actually winning.
So finally, something I actually agree with. Since I'm at the office late recording this, and I was here working, I had two of my loan officers that were also doing the same. So, I mean, we definitely are busy. Certain folks are busy, certain aren't. I think if you're putting yourself out there, you're busy, especially in a market like they're talking about that has very limited inventory, that has folks getting outbid left and right, that is competing with other people around the United States moving to Texas. A lot of places that give their perspective or perception of the market are not in locations like Texas or Florida. So I'm bringing on my two loan officers that were here working late to talk about that. I have Nicole Kelly, loan officer, and I also have Jody Trevino, loan officer. Kapow. Guys, what do you think? You were here listening to that. Give me your take. Who wants to go first?
One of the first things I want to say, and I don't think anybody's addressed it, but not the contributor, but the interviewer was saying, rates are going up. Should people stop and should they wait? I think what somebody needs to address at some point is that rates have gone up, but they're still at historic lows.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not something we're not used to. It's just we've been so spoiled over the last 18 months with.
I'll take it a step further to basically say that we as consumers have been trained to think rate, and that's why people are buying, when the real reason why you should buy is because you just increased, if you bought 2 years ago, 19, 20 to 30% in equity gained year over year. That is not going backwards, at least in Texas. I'm going to continue to beat that drum. Yeah, it's just a mindset and us continuing to educate people. Yeah. How about you, Nicole?
Well, Jody told me a couple of weeks ago, you don't wait to buy real estate, you buy real estate and wait.
Ooh, that's a good one. That is so true. Yeah.
That one's really good. But one thing too is, I understand it is discouraging for consumers and buyers, but if you don't know what you don't know, so if you're not applying, you're not putting yourself into the market, you're not taking a look at how you're set up to be, you might be paying the same amount in rent that you could on a mortgage.
Actually more right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
With no equity.
With no equity. You're paying someone else's mortgage.
If we want to talk about interest rates,
the
interest rate of renting is 100%.
With zero return.
Yes.
So, you guys are not incorrect. And I think that this lady does a good job of letting everybody know a good perspective of, you've got to start getting creative. Those folks that need a place to live and are making a sound decision to seek out property to purchase versus renting and holding off till they find a place are going to need to be creative, compromise, and also realistic. I think one of the things that they mentioned is people are going to have to start getting 50% of their wish list at the beginning versus the normal 80% or 75%, whatever it is. 203K homes, renovation loans. Those are the types of things that we as lenders should be educating our customers on.
And it's always been that way. Compromise has always been a thing. Used to be, you look for a 7 or an 8 because unless you're building custom, you're not going to get a 10. But everybody has to have somewhere to live. Okay, so maybe right now you're not going to look for a 7, 8. You're going to look for a 5 or 6. You have to live somewhere. And now you're building equity in a home versus renting an apartment that's super expensive.
And I'll say it like I've always said it before. Most cases, you are buying your first home, not your forever home.
Right.
Luckily, you're in a market that is historically year over year potential to gain equity. Depending on how you buy it, but I don't believe that property values are going to go backwards. They may slow down, they may level out, but they're not going backwards in Texas because people are still coming here.
Well, you also want to be ready too. If you're in position to move next month and you think you're ready to buy a home and then maybe you're not, maybe you don't qualify, Don't you want a game plan so that you are ready to pull the trigger once you find a home?
Yeah.
And if there's somebody out there watching this, listening to this, and moving to Texas, where should they go?
LockandTerraloans.com.
That's right, baby.
LockandTerraloans.com. Guys, visit us at LockandTerraloans.com if you are interested in getting your options. All right, guys, so I'm Mark Jones, your millennial mortgage expert, and you guys make today count.
You were talking about money, right?
Separate yourself widely from the pack moving forward. Is that something that you would be willing to have a discussion about?
Because they didn't get it. They were
probably
like, hey,
didn't
right.
get it. Yeah.
To follow up with your clients to generate more